Well, good morning and welcome to the Market Carver. Hope you've had an outstanding day. What an interesting period of time we live in when the markets wait to hear what the Federal Reserve is going to say at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Wednesday to spike, to come back down to reality very, very quickly. It's all about the Fed in terms of Fed speak. Now, if we've been around and had any conversations here for a while, you know we've been talking about to a degree that risk may very well be overstated. But the reality is the reality. Every time the Fed talks, the market moves. It moves quickly and it moves swiftly. Today we saw that impact in the dollar and a little bit inside of the bond market. We're going to get to this, but in reality, we've already seen $60 billion, much of that since May 1st, pour out of bond funds throughout the United States, all because of things that Bernanke has said to the tune of, hey, we're going to stop the taking the money to the punch bowl. We're going to stop putting the $85 billion a year into the system, or a month into the system, rather. The reality is when we look at it, today, even on Wednesday in the conversation, they kind of backpedal and we have no intentions of raising interest rates in the short term anytime soon. We'll see if that calms markets a little bit more going forward. The reality is they're losing control of the 7 to 10 year Treasury rate. But anyhow, here we go. Welcome to the Market Carver. We're happy to have you along. Let's start with Alcoa. You know, it's the most beaten up company in the Dow by far. It's also the first company to report an earnings season, and this is critical. As we look at earnings, remember the revenue numbers have been coming in light and earnings have been going up. That's been coming in for a couple of reasons. One, companies have been buying back massive amount of shares. One of the first times in history where we've seen the index, the S&P 500 index, not somewhat correlated to the market cap of the S&P 500 companies. As that's begin to break apart, you can see part of the earnings are literally coming from buying back shares. The other part of that, obviously, the revenues have just not been growing, and that's not a great long-term answer. Alcoa came out, report, it actually beat its estimates, lost a little bit of money when you look at some of the legal expenses and the restructuring, but it beat the analyst estimates. That is a typically good sign for the Dow companies, the earnings season. We'll see how it continues to play out for sure. Moving to Egypt, a lot of people said, you know, Egypt is a big mess, it's a big problem, but what does it involve us? Well, if you've been to the gas station lately, you will start to see that impact. Gas prices had dropped noticeably from the $4 mark here in Indiana, at least, down into the 320s I saw in Lafayette one morning. Oil is back above $105 a barrel, and that's all because of the issues that are going on to a large degree inside of Egypt, at least in our opinion, some of the challenges that are going on over there. So we'll continue to watch it and watch the changes that are taking place over there in terms of how it goes. The dump trucks, you can easily see what's going on inside of the bond world. Money is just pulling out of those things very, very quickly because of the challenges that people are having. It's a frustrating period of time, but it is, to a degree, what it is. Good news and great news came out in the jobs number. First, while we were busy celebrating the 4th of July, the Bank of England, Europe left interest rates low. That's good news for the Europe, especially for the ones that are struggling, the Spains, the Italys, the Greeces. On the other side of the coin, however, we were able to watch the unemployment number come out. Unemployment rate didn't change, but the number of new jobs actually increased, and that becomes a confusing story, but it's an important story. The Federal Reserve has said that they're watching the interest rate, or the unemployment rate, as it gets closer to 6.5%, they're going to make changes, and yet here we sit. They make the comment today that they're nowhere near to that period of time of where they're going to raise rates. They say one thing and may very well be watching another. But it's a period of time where good news is possibly good news without having any challenging impact. Rules to live by. There are 2 tax codes in the United States. Don't ever forget it. One for the informed, one for the uninformed. We've looked at combining some contracts this week where we're able to maintain basis and keep people from getting a tax exposure. A missed opportunity on a Roth conversion of somebody that came in that literally was in a 0% tax bracket that became a new family that we're taking care of. There's opportunities out there on your tax return with the statements, especially in a volatile market like this. Please don't hesitate to sit down, call us, get a cup of coffee. Let's bring in your 2012 tax return and make sure that we have the tax planning year-end strategy in mind so that we are ready to move forward. If you're out and about on Saturday mornings, don't forget to catch the radio show on WQME, Saturday 9 to 10, Shine 99, 10 to 11. On Sunday mornings, I'm going to talk about the three phases of finance: the accumulation, the preservation, and the distribution phase, the goals and objectives for each one of those. And last but not least, Jack Harder and I are going to tackle a little bit of the legacy planning. Folks, we greatly appreciate the opportunity to be of service. I hope you're having an outstanding week. If there's anything we can do, please don't hesitate to give us a call. 800-928-4001. God bless. Have a great week. We'll see you again soon.